Alright, today we start working on the wiring. It's not actually this difficult. Let me break it down for you and show you what we got to do. Here are some things we're going to use to get this job done. We have two different sets of mil-spec connectors. These ones are for a heavier gauge wire. This one is for the smaller stuff, which is probably going to be for signal wires for engine control. You see how those go together. And then you turn this shut to lock it. And this square part will go through the firewall to give us a nice fitting. This is just a basic relay we're going to use to make our own starter relay for turn the engine. These are really essential. They're just mini jumper wires. So you put this to power and you jump these two to whatever you need power to. Those will come in handy. These are all the different pins that we're going to need for this mil-spec connector. Obviously shrink tubing. We have a test light, soldering iron. This is a little pick tool that I would use to pick all these little prongs out of the connectors. And obviously just the regular basic electrical tools. We're going to start things off by laying out the body harness, making sure all our wires are going to where we want them, and then we can start removing the wires we know that we're not going to need. So we're going to start laying this out, and I'll show you how I tuck the wires also. So if any of you guys are wanting to do a wire tuck on your MR2, you're going to snake the wires through this part of the body. You're going to make this round hole, which is going to later accept the original grommet that was used on the inside part of the firewall. So now we're just going to fish these through. Alright, going through the taillight section, this is the driver's side taillight. This is the passenger side taillight. And all this extra wiring was to the, what I believe, the automatic antenna that used to be cool in the 90s. So I don't need that extra wiring. I don't want it in here causing me problems later. So I need to delaminate all this and pull it back through the wiring and add it to my list of things to get rid of. Alright, so I have this all untaped. Let's see if I can separate them. After pulling all those wires from the back, it looks like this is the only plug that I'm going to need. This portion is where all the taillights go that I have wrapped off, and this goes back to the body for the rear window defrosters and some speakers, but I guess we'll maintain them for now. In the meantime, I got to come through and separate it from the rest of that loom. Just another look at the destruction. Got the plug-ins for the taillights there. There's all the stuff that got removed, engine management and diagnostics and everything that run up to the dash. We no longer need that. That's all going to be running off the LS ECU. Wires are technically tucked. They go between the wheel well, and you're not going to see anything where it matters. And it pokes through there all the way up to the actual plug-in block. It's by the left foot. Okay, with doing this LS swap, a lot of times they're throttled by cable. The one that I'm using is drive by wire, so this is something called a TAC module. The ECU plugs into this and reads what the pedal is telling it, so this is the wire that goes from the TAC module to the pedal. However, in this situation, because the engine is now behind us, this needs to be lengthened by 7 feet, which is a relatively easy task. And then I'll bring you in the car and show you what I had to do to modify the gas pedal. And so simply enough, this is the MR2 gas pedal, which you come up here and I welded it to the GM electronic drive-by-wire pedal, which is not a hard deal to do. I changed the mounting locations to where I can bolt it to a firewall here. There's another one up top. And this is the connector that the wiring is going to plug in that goes back to that TAC module. So now we're going to do the simple task of basically cutting this in half and adding 7 feet of wire to the middle of it. The other thing I'm going to do is I'm going to stagger my cut so all my joints are in different places so we don't have one giant wad in one location. Here it is, one 7-foot longer drive-by-wire. So let's go put this in a car. Wire runs back there through that port, and this is where the TAC module is now living. Alright, first thing we're going to cut on the engine harness is this one main lead that I want to come through the firewall. This is for the OBD2 port, and this is the connection for the check engine light. So I've marked it, this is where I want the joint to be in the firewall. So now I just gotta come through and cut it. And there we go. Hope we don't regret it. So now we're gonna go through and solder these into here. Our fuse and relay block, as well as the OBD2 port for the engine management. And this is going to be in the car behind the firewall, just on the firewall. Can't just bolt this right to it because I got all that wiring behind it. I whip up a quick template. Which will bolt all 4 mounting points. Put some captive nuts in here, and this extra space is going to be for this is where a check engine light is going to come through. So we'll transfer that to steel. Alright, here it is all put together. So now I just got to take it back apart and we're going to weld it to the firewall here, here, and 2 on the sides, and there's just going to hold it in place for us. Alright, now I'm going to cut my main fuse and relay block right here. And we're going to add the second mil-spec connector so this will be put to the firewall. I guess we got to cut it again. Alright, now that we have both of our mil-spec connectors completely put together and assembled, we can move into the car and get these assembled into the bracket we made earlier. Alright, the fuse relay block is all put together. All that work just to get those 2 mil-spec connectors through the firewall. So now that we got this far, I have 3 wires left. The red one is constant power to the computer. The yellow is the accessory power when you turn the key, which in turn sends the orange relay out to the fuel pump. So we'll get to that in a minute. Alright guys, we got a lot of important stuff done today. So when we come back next time, we're going to finish wiring up the start of the relay. We're going to put power to the car. We'll see what works and what catches on fire. See you then.